property technology? It's essentially technology that applies to the built environment. So anything hardware, processes that requires technology. It's actually not new, but the name PropTech is kind of newish. Just because the real estate players globally are kind of dinosaur in their mindset, because it's usually owned by big, very old people with very traditional mindset. So if you divide the industry into two, it's essentially just two sides, the build and the sell. Whether you want to lease it out, we refer to it as a sell. Sorry. Okay. So what is FinTech? I will not read this because you all know what it is. But there's such thing as real estate FinTech, which is essentially all those technology, the financial technology, that affects the real estate industry. So lending for, well, essentially mortgage, payments for rentals, payments for monthly amortization or stuff like that. You've got like if you look at what FinTech is, it all relates to real estate. So for the purposes of this discussion, we'll call it real estate FinTech. So it's a sector of FinTech, but it's not really a subset of FinTech, I guess. Okay, now this is property tech. There are actually 4 verticals. You've got the ConTech, or the construction technology. But for this presentation, I will create a cleave between the construction technology and the 3 other verticals, because that's where the FinTech convergence is going to happen. The smart real estate, the shared economy, and essentially the real estate FinTech. So this is your construction technology where you build your design, okay? So you can ask me later, I will tell you. And this is the sell side. This is where you market, where you discover, where you do search. You have the transact where you sell. And you have the manage and control. This is property management or building management. So in every technology, what we've discovered, well, it's not my discovery, but essentially, every technology created falls in this horizontal. Either it's an information technology meant to get data, inform you, analyze all these things, or it's a transaction or a marketplace technology. And the third one is the management and control. So in real estate, you have all that. You've got the smart technology for the controls and management. You've got the transaction side where you market, sell, search, and all these things. And of course, the data, which is crucial. I think every industry will agree with me that home buyer data is very, very valuable. Because if a person can buy a home, they can buy shoes. In my case, shoes. So where does the convergence happen? If you look at the Venn diagram above, this is not mine. I actually stole this from Oxford Business Study. This was published in 2017. It's called PropTech 3.0. So you could see that smart real estate is purely PropTech. And where the sharing happens is in the shared economy. I'll give you an example of a shared economy later. And so you could see that they actually converge together. So real estate FinTech is very important with the transactional part of real estate. So this, just to define, just so I have a better presentation, I put pictures. So anyway, for the smart real estate technologies, this is the platform where you put it takes care of the operation and management of the unit, of the properties. It you know what this is, the IoT part where you measure electricity usage, and where Alexa is very useful, where you can control with your laptops, your mobile phones. This is where you get data on how a unit is used. It's particularly useful, the data with this is useful for retail because it will help you predict what they want to buy. The shared economy is the use of the units. So this supports the occupier market. I'm sure you're aware of a little company called, nawala ang picture. Airbnb. It's both. This is where obviously FinTech is important, because without the transactional capability of a FinTech, Airbnb wouldn't exist. The other one is a company called, this one is quite interesting, because the Philippines has a very strong room sharing kind of market. We call it bed spacing. So this is one of those where you can lease out the bed. It's an app. So again, it has a FinTech component in it. So you will understand where it converges. So for real estate, FinTech, where my software kind of like rests so much on, this is for the ownership of real estate. Sample of FinTech, where it is very vital to the real estate industry. Obviously the banks, because mortgage. Then you've got online mortgage platforms, which we don't have yet, as far as I know. You have to go to the bank and their apps. Then you've got cryptocurrency payments, which I'm hoping will develop here. There are developments in, for example, in UK, there are projects being built in UK that do not accept any other forms of payment except cryptocurrency. So we don't have that yet here. You've got alternative financing. The first picture there where there's a yellow house is called Loftium. What's interesting in Loftium is this. They finance the down payment for you in exchange for 2 to 3 years of listing your property in Airbnb, which they will manage from you, for you, shared profit. For Loftium, they improve the number of units they enroll in Airbnb without having to pay for the units. For you guys, you don't have to worry about the deposit. So that's an alternative form of payment. Zilch is another payment portal which we are in conversation with, and they have an interesting sort of incentive to the ones using their platform, where they give you 10% back of your transaction costs, which you can use for non-recourse loan for your own operations. So that's an alternative way of expanding business. Then crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, as you know, is peer-to-peer, where if you do not have the capacity to invest in one whole real estate, you can fractionally own something as an investment. I think this has promise. And of course, the payments for reservations. Our real estate industry does accept reservations fee via credit card, but the down payments paid by post-dated checks. Very strange, but they require that. So if it was up to me, I will change it, but I can't. So, where are the potential gains? Based on the study of Oxford Business School, that round-trip transaction costs, the legal, the appraisal, all these things, is about 3 to 6% of the price of the property. That's a lot of money. And just 10% of improving that using technology is about 10 billion US per year. That's 10 billion is 10 billion. And another thing that suffers in the real estate industry is the slow payment. It costs the industry 40 billion a year. So any technology that would help improve that, this is the size of the pie we're looking at. It improves liquidity, the velocity of sales. It definitely would disrupt the market, because the market is it's big. It's bigger than anything you can think of. I'll show you a slide later how huge it is. And we all know technology now, real estate, the search is now all online. 97% of search for real estate is done online. So if the search is online, it's just a matter of time before the actual purchasing happens online. So are you with us or not? That's my challenge. So where can we collaborate? Okay. My platform is a sales platform. What it does, it's being used by the big developers in the land. I will not drop name, Ayala. So essentially, we have data, KYC data. There was a topic, yesterday, one of the issues that was raised was the KYC, know your customer data. I can tell you, based on our experience, we have no problem getting those data. Because our clients, when we lead generate, are buyers. And in the scheme of things, they see themselves in the position of power. Because the developers are selling, they are buying, they're the clients. They are much more open to giving their data. We have the data. So I invite the FinTech companies, the financing companies to work with us so we could provide you that data. Because our problem, well, the industry's problem is that the problem why Filipinos, a lot of the Filipinos do not buy homes is access to capital or access to financing. It's not because they cannot pay, it's because they don't have credit history. So if we solve that bit, where we prepare them to become credit worthy later, they are your home buyers. So we can collaborate on this. So the other problem is this. Loan mortgage application processes are very difficult. I'm sure most Filipinos would agree with me. Borrowing money is not the most comfortable thing in the world. We are trained to think of debt as a bad thing. I think maybe very few Filipinos, except the 1%, understand the power of leveraging, the power of smart debt. For most Filipinos, it's really not a very pleasant experience. So this is why they don't go to banks. It's embarrassing if they're gonna borrow. It's not even very easy to just go to the bank and open a bank account. A farmer will be intimidated to go to the bank. And can you imagine borrowing money? So this, let me tell you that when we first started, I had a FinTech company called LoanSolutions. It's a website generating borrowers online. Oh, bloody hell. We have so much borrowers, it's unbelievable. Pre-qualifying them is another matter. But the point is, why was it so successful? Because you're not face-to-face with someone. There's the certain comfort of the screen where you input data, where you're not losing face. In Asia, losing face is a massive, massive thing. So that helps. Of course, we still need to, a lot of these borrowers you have to verify because they put fake information. But the point is, there's a certain thing about using technology for generating applications. Okay. Another one, retail buying behavior and preferences. Remember the smart technology? You can learn so much from those information. How do you market your product? What kind of product? Why are they buying them? The smart technology already exists. We just need to tap. We just need to work together. Because for the real estate market, high technology already exists in the build environment. You can 3D print a house now for 28 days, a 4-bedroom house for 28 days. And yet the data there is not linked to the selling side, not linked to the finance. It's like we have all this high technology, but they don't talk to each other, which is it's not the smartest way to go about when it comes to technology. So we should be much more collaborative than what we are doing now. So, okay, the fourth one, alternative financing. I mentioned this earlier. We need to be a little bit more, at least for the real estate industry, a little bit more creative. We need to solve the problem of teaching Filipinos why they need to build their credit history. The reason why they don't have these things is because they do not know. My experience is, because I talk to a lot of bankers. One of my mentors is a very experienced banker. I once asked him, do we have credit scoring in the Philippines, credit history? And they said, we have credit history, but it's not real time, number one. And number two, it's only available to banks, to member banks. Just imagine your banking history, your credit history, you do not know. Because if you ask the bank, try asking the bank, they will never give you. So how can you correct or improve a credit history, your credit history, if you have no clue? Doesn't make sense. And yet they keep this data. If you fail paying your Globe or your Smart bill, or whatever bill, say 25, they keep this data in perpetuity. So you have that black mark. You don't know, because you're young, you don't know it exists. You don't know that it affects you down the line. How can you improve it? You cannot, because you don't know. So I think it's very important that we work together in that aspect. So that's why I put the fifth one, financial intelligence and wealth management. I think wealth management should start, our training should start before we have wealth to manage. We are much more equipped later. So, in the industry, in real estate industry, money comes anywhere there is a transaction. And this is where FinTech or real estate FinTech is key. So, why invest in real estate FinTech? If you guys are interested, I was hoping Mr. Ortiz was here, still here. But anyway, because this is why VCs, venture capitalists, and private equity companies usually invest in a technology or in any business. What is the condition in the demand side and what's in the condition in the supply side? In the real estate industry globally, the demand is diverse. The supply is also diverse. The opportunity there is there's no efficient mechanism to link them together. That's where we come in, actually. And the potential gains you've already saw earlier, the savings alone by improving the efficiency of the industry is tremendous. So is it scalable? Yes, it is. Because technology is generally scalable. This is where I think the opportunities in real estate FinTech lies. The crowdfunding, the debt and mortgage, because this is the main reason why people in the Philippines can't buy properties. Not because they cannot pay, but because they just cannot cough up the huge amount equivalent to the deposits, or maybe they can't get a mortgage. And then, of course, data, blockchain technology, and AI. Real estate, I think, I am very sure actually, will be bought, sold on the mobile phone sooner than we think. This is our main goal. Our main goal as a company is to bridge the gap, the tech gap between the builders, the buyers, and the brokers. And that will disappear. So let me tell you what eto self-promotion. Let me tell you what our system does. So in the three horizontals, we also do the information technology because we gather data from the leads that we have. We do fantastic KYC. We have 3 levels of pre-qualification. The usual onboarding of name, email address, and phone number, which we verify. And then we ask additional questions, which determines whether they are ready to buy now if they understand the product better. And the third one, the first 2 are automated. The third one is what we use a virtual assistant for, because certain information you cannot ask online. They drop off after that. So this is based on our 3 years of experience of lead generating for real estate. And of course, we do transaction. We're also a marketplace. So what do I mean by that? MiDash is our system for real estate developer. My Realty is our system for brokers. They're independently functional, so a developer does not have to be linked to MyRealty, but when they are integrated, it becomes so much more powerful. So what does MiDash has? MiDash has an e-sales kit, so developers don't need to print brochures, and they can update their sales materials just like that. It has a real-time inventory reservation system where I have the FinTech, the real estate FinTech is connected to, because you can't, essentially, any broker in the world can sell a unit on the spot, take on the reservations. Third one is CRM, because sales, this is my experience as a salesperson. I've been a salesperson since I was 15, and I've managed sales teams. I can tell you now, my best salesperson hates reports. Yet management need reports. So you cannot fire your best salesperson because they produce, but they hate reports. So our system takes that burden out. Using a system like ours, especially for any kind of selling, when you take out the reporting portion, you actually save a salesperson an hour and a half a day. So that's more selling time. So that's the CRM component. We have the auto funnel, wherein the digital media of a real estate developer or a broker, like their Facebook ads, all the ads, it's funneled into the system so that all the leads are just one place. And the fifth one is when you link them together, is what we call a global cross-selling platform, because our MyRealty, which is a broker system, is available in Cambodia. Will be in Cambodia this year. We are already in Malaysia. We are setting up in Australia soon, and Vietnam as well. So essentially, brokers in those countries can sell real estate in the Philippines. And soon, we will launch our first project, a MiDash-enabled project in Cambodia, so the brokers here in the Philippines will be able to sell that project. So, data. This is what I've been peddling to my colleagues in the FinTech world. Data that can be turned into actionable insight. That's one of the core functions of our software. Let me leave you this slide for a bit, mull things over. This is the size of the real estate, the global real estate market. It's $217 trillion. It's bigger than the global bond market, bigger than all the global economy combined. That's how big it is. But it is not liquid, very slow, manual. The selling process of real estate is manual. That's why we're here to disrupt it. And I think FinTech is crucial to us. Our software, believe it or not, does not have the payment portal capability. We purposely didn't do it because we want to collaborate.